Got that video for YouTube. Boom.
Yes, sir.
And we're recording.
No, baby.
My man, Harvey.
What's going on, wrong man?
Hey, thank you so much for getting this, creating this time for me to sit down with you and share everything you got going on, as well as who you are. And so thanks for joining me, Harvey.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on. I know we've talked about for like a minute, for like a while, man, getting on the podcast and then COVID and everything, and we're still able to do this. So that's dope.
Been a long time coming, and I know I've been excited. We've been playing Modern Warfare enough, and I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and get you on. Yep. And so for everyone who doesn't know who you are and may have never heard of you, give us a brief little background on who you are and what you're up to.
My name is Harvey Cummings. I am a musician, a composer, an arranger, songwriter, producer, band leader, all things music. I'm the music department. I'm originally born and raised from the good city of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Born and raised.
I'm native. They call me a unicorn.
I'm usually the guy that says there's a unicorn.
You're the first guy I've met from Charlotte.
You must be a unicorn. Yeah.
I'm a unicorn.
Yeah. And so what kind of got you into music? Did you just have an ear for it as a kid? Did you pick up an instrument? How did that kind of come along?
I picked it up. I had an ear. My mother was a musician. You know, she's living. She majored in music, well, minored in music. And she played in church, and we had a piano in the house, and that was the breeding ground right there. That's where I just got my fingers, and she would teach me little things. My dad's not a musician. He doesn't have a musical bone in his body, but you know, like my mom definitely got me exposed. Family uncle played saxophone, so I wanted to be like my uncle, you know. So when it was time to, you know, start playing horn around, this was the magnet school era. I was 9 years old. I was in fourth grade when I started playing saxophone.
Oh man,
I was playing keyboards before though. I was in piano lessons. I understood like basic music theory and had an ear and could read, and then, you know, started playing horn, and everything went from there, man. Just writing music, performing with groups and bands. I'm in middle school. I'm doing jazz festivals and stuff like that. So, but I went to Northwest School of the Arts, familiar with the schools in Charlotte. It's a performing arts school that just, like I said, a lot of good people come out of that school. So it was a lot of talent, and it was competitive. I was in the jazz program, and I did chamber choir and art and dance and everything I could, man, just to like, you know, learn the arts and be appreciative of everything. So
wow, that is awesome. Like, because it sounds like I'm similar to your dad. I don't have a musical bone in my body. I like to think I can sing, but it's only in my car and in the shower.
In the car, the shower, yeah.
Car and shower. But like, even I tried to teach myself how to play piano in college, and I was like, now I understand why there's instructors for this kind of thing, because I got to one point, I had my keyboard, and it just wasn't matching up with me. My fingers weren't moving, my eyes weren't reading fast enough.
That's number one. It's the matching. It's just like, you know, you gotta kind of conceptually hear what you have in your brain and then convey it into your instrument. So
yeah. And so when did you start playing the keyboard? Was it just like, did you just start as a kid, just not even knowing what you're doing, and then your mom kind of
not even knowing,
worked you in?
Knowing at the same time, like I'm understanding, okay, if I go, this is high, this is low, okay. And, you know, just like the noise started turning into, you know, more to music. Like mom would give me books, you know, method books, you know, piano for beginners, piano for children, piano for kids. These like Hal Leonard, Bernstein books, you know what I'm saying? These different, you know, books to learn piano. So, I mean, I did like the talent show in like first, second, you know, third grade. I was on the keyboard. I had an old Casio. I would make the beat. Like the beats were already there. And I would just add on the other stuff.
Oh man.
You know, looking back at it now, like we were producing, we were definitely making music.
Yeah, that's wild. And I remember those kids in my school. I mean, no, my school wasn't no school of the arts or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But it's like, I do remember like just all these musicians. I remember I wanted to be in percussion so bad, but
yeah,
like things like that was the only thing I could do. I was like, physically, that's kind of who I am. And so if I could beat on a drum, just like I'm beating on these wrestlers' heads, it might turn
yeah.
into some music type
So
deal. And
wrestling,
so,
so wrestling was your music. Wrestling was
yeah,
your
it was my art.
that was your art. That was where you performed.
Yeah. Yeah, very much. And I couldn't, because like, it's not even just music for me. It's like art too. I mean, this is my art now, is creating podcasts and interviewing people. It's like not really, like, I created this little piece back here, which is my art workout,
Yeah, I
which is kind of
see.
cool. But yeah, not too much artistic expression all the way through, but physically I could manipulate myself to get stronger, faster, and I can manipulate other people to do stuff that they wouldn't want to do on the wrestling mat. And so that was
Mhm.
kind of my art. But like you have the very expressive art of music, and you said you were doing dance and all that stuff. Like how was it kind of growing up and going into the art school, being around all these artists? Like, how do you think it was different compared to people who went to like normal public schools and things like that?
I think half the people at the art school, if you put them in a regular school, like they would have been called weirdo and everything else. This was
Yeah.
like it was like Charles Xavier's School for the Gifted, man. It
Oh,
was
I love that.
it was everybody was able to, like I said, I started off because the school was from 6th to 12th grade.
Ooh.
So I started off 6th grade. I was doing band and stuff like that, but I was also in visual art. But that was when I realized I was doing like batiks and linoleum and like some crazy stuff. But then I was like 12, realizing like, man, like these kids are more passionate about art than I am. I'm gonna back out, and that's when I tried, my hand on different things, acting and musical theater. We did shows. I did technical theater, photography.
Man.
Just learning all about it. But then also just like I said, we had practice rooms where we would just shed and practice, and eventually we would just skip class to go, practice some Coltrane or practice some stuff, man. But it was just a good environment to be in. Like to this day, it's still, one of those schools. So I was
Yeah.
able to do that and graduate from there and then go on to North Carolina Central University in Durham, where I continued, music, continued jazz studies. I got a full ride to college. It was paid by Coltrane's family because I was a scholarship recipient. I had to like send a recording of me playing some Train, and it was a national contest, and I won, and they paid for my school, different other things. So I studied under the masters over
That's
there, Ira Wiggins and Branford Marsalis and
wow.
people like that. So they're like, they're going in on me, but it's just like I learned the history of music. I learned how music functions. I learned all these different things beyond jazz, from Mendelssohn to Strauss to Stravinsky to whatever, man. Like we learned it all,
Wow.
and yeah, just
I like hearing that, because even where I'm sitting right now as somewhat of a content creator, I'm
yeah,
like, I wish I would have learned photography. I wish I would have learned like
yeah.
all those different. I mean, I took acting classes in high school and college. I had so much fun in those. Like,
It
even
was fun. Yeah.
yeah, they're just, I mean, and they're just like different ways to express yourself, coming from an athlete that had no way. The only way I knew how to express myself was physically, but now it's
Yeah.
like I'm seeing all these other aspects and like trying to tie them all together and make like a
Mm-hmm. And
complete
that's
like motion picture almost with what Roaming Around is.
yeah.
But it's like I'm not taking anything I learned from college, or not from college. College I am, because I'm
Yeah.
still in the sports stuff. But high
It's still
school,
sports. Yeah.
I wasn't taking anything from high school. I mean, it's like, and it's interesting because like, I mean, you are still using, I'm sure, the knowledge and because I mean, it's almost like you were so niche at a young age. And
I
then
tell people like I use my college degree every day. Like I use my degree every day. Like
yeah,
I use it to this day. Like doing all sorts of things. So
yeah, shoot, man, that's awesome. I love that. Because like, I mean, being niche in 6th grade, I mean, and I understand too, because eighth grade is kind of when I quit football and just focused on wrestling. And then that got me off through college too. And so, but then after college, it's like you can't be a wrestler anymore unless you're trying to throw hands or go to the Olympics.
Right. So let me go back to football. Let me go do some flag football on Saturdays.
Yeah. And so now, I did NASCAR for a couple of years, lost the identity. And now it's like, I'm really trying to figure out where I fit in the world.
Because you done placed your hands in different things. You done traveled and had different experiences, and it made you that well-rounded individual. So
yeah, and shoot, I mean, and music did the same thing for you, and trying out all these different arts and things like that, man. It's pretty special to see. And so after you won the national competition for Coltrane, and you got the scholarship, and you went off to college, like, how were your college years, and how did they kind of shape who you are today as well?
Oh man, I knew as a musician, as a trained musician, you have options to go to these, conservatories. I was looking at Juilliard and New School and Berklee College of Music and things like that. But my parents were like HBCU graduates, and I wanted to be in that HBCU experience of like seeing like homecoming and that and the band and that the third. So that's why I chose North Carolina Central, because I was able to have the best of both worlds. Like they had a top rated jazz program, like a conservatory, you know what I'm saying? But I was able to, do the HBCU stuff, man. I was Mr. Sophomore. I was Mr. NCCU. I was homecoming king. I pledged fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha. I was involved, probably a lot more than the other music students, because you're supposed to just be in the music room. And I was doing that, but then also I was out, man. I was partying.
Yeah.
I had a social life, and just it was the beginning of just building my network of people out there. They know me as the guy playing the keyboard or the sax. They had a piano in the cafeteria. And as you're exiting the cafeteria, there was an old upright. And I would just be just playing, after I eat, I'd be playing whatever, from jazz to Cameron, Dipset, whatever, popping, Missy Elliott. We're playing all the top 40 jams, and people would come hang out. Girls would just come and sit, and it was just so when I graduated and stuff, the people that were like, oh, you're going to play at my wedding. I ended up playing at their wedding. I ended up, I ended up doing that. So when I graduated, I went to grad school, ECU. While I was there, we were recording. That was when I linked with Ninth Wonder, because he's an alum of NCCU. That the whole little brother, Fonte, Lipu, all that, but connected with Ninth Wonder, and he ended up putting me on the Boondocks, the Cartoon Network. So that was my first music placement. That was my first professional, music placement. Like on TV was the Boondocks, and
that's wonderful.
And that catapulted me into other things, from working with, all the prominent artists in Raleigh and the Durham area, time King Mez and all these different people. And like I said, I was studying, jazz studies and music in grad school, but just I don't know, I was burnt. I didn't really care for the program. I thought I wasn't really learning anymore. I ended up transferring to UNC Charlotte to get my master's in education, and then from there I ended up just teaching. I was a teacher at CMS. I was a band teacher. I was Mr. C.
Mr. C.
I was Mr. C. Yeah. So it was just, I got to live my Mr. Holland's opus, fantasy of just writing. I took my gifts. I mean, other people were just, they had music for the kids to do. I was writing most of the music for them to play,
Dang, that's cool.
We had a pet band. That was an incentive. You be good during here, you can do pet band. I had we were doing Lil Wayne and Ludacris and Taylor Swift. We doing songs, man, just, fun stuff, but using that. And, I bounced from school to schools, man. I was doing, I went from one school, teaching these kids in the hood, which I loved. And then I went to suburbs in Union County and taught there. And these kids had resources and stuff, man. doing plays and stuff. Kids were bad as hell too. They were bad too. But we had like resources, like we did like the Aladdin plays and Disney plays and stuff like that. And I continued to teach until, 2012. I got a call from, this is gonna sound crazy, but in 2012, some cats around Charlotte, Adrian Crutchfield, a couple other cats, Corey Gaston, we put an audition in for Prince, for the Purple, for Prince, for the artist.
Yeah.
As his horn sections, MPG horn section. And little be known, like, we ended up getting the call. And the crazy thing is, this is unfortunate for me, but like, the day I got the call was the day after I signed my teaching contract. Ooh. And at the time, I was like, I've never made this much money in my life. I never had this much security and benefits and this. I was really, and I was like, man, if I take this tour, man, I just knew so many people that did major tours and different things like that, and then they would come back to Charlotte and just be dry, or they'd be calling me, Harv, man, what's going on? I was looking for the stability, so I declined on the Prince tour, and like we literally got a call. I was like, come to Minneapolis, and I was like, I literally just signed my teaching contract, and I ended up like, leaving that job anyway, man. But wow. what that did for me as a musician was, it gave me the validation. It gave me not validation, but it gave me the affirmation that I'm confirmed. I'm like a top tier. I'm a top tier player. I can do this. And from there, like, I started my own project. I started my own band, and I've dealt with corporate bands at the same time. I was in a very top 2% party wedding band, getting booked for, all the elite and we're in like Arizona and California and Alabama, all these different places playing for these clients. We were in Mar-a-Lago, like where Trump stayed, like we were playing there, we would play there, we would do these different things, and just being in that band, it taught me about just the other side of it, like the marketing and the branding, and that's when I learned that your referrals are king. Your referrals, you kill a show, and they would have the koozies and the cards, and then they would do, but we were going out all these different country clubs pretty much, so it was cool. We did that till like 2017 and focused more on just my band. And that's when I put out my first, record, Chicken Day EP. I took that time and just, all the stuff I produced, let's make an album, let's make a project. And then that, changed trajectory and, got me doing more things and being more national, just being based from Charlotte. I'm in LA doing this and playing here in New York, but I'm able to fly back to Charlotte and make it back for church and do different things. So, but just being in Charlotte, just working with the different people in Charlotte now, more on just like I'm playing, I'm producing, but like I'm delegating, I'm helping, I'm on boards, I'm on this, I'm helping with creative mornings. Yeah, really, building that brand as far as like what I do for the music.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff, man. Shoot, you just dropped a lot on me. I got questions. I got hella questions right now. Come on. Shoot, I mean, I loved the, like, that you wanted to do the HBCU thing. I mean, because before growing up right near DC, it's like I didn't even know what like Howard University was doing, but I would just hear Howard University homecoming. They were everywhere. Homecoming. Yeah. It's like it was on every radio station. It was like, and like I had no idea what it was, but it's like it's cool that you had that, like, that you wanted to do that. You wanted to be in there, and that you weren't just kind of settling for just the music part, that you expanded your audience. You went and had your hands in different places. That's kind of how I saw myself. Like when you were saying you were playing the piano in the cafeteria, it reminded me of the days where I would call it stunting. I wouldn't even
Yeah.
have class. It'd be my days off, and I just walk from my apartment.
Like posting, like we're posting up at the union. We're just
Yep.
nothing to do. We just
Yep. Yeah, same exact thing. And I would just meet people, like tons of people, because like I would basically have my own table. People would come sit down, and then they'd leave, and then I'd be like, hey, come on over, get some more people. And like so it's like I love the hearing that you were kind of similar, especially because like it's different environments, but like the same experience. And that's something that kind of brought me joy listening to you say, just because you got to bring that little bit of it's like the cherry on top, the sprinkles is playing the piano, because you can meet people and then you can kind of wow them to like, damn, Harvey's over here playing the piano every day after he eats. Little things like that would bring it. I bet it brought enjoyment, and just everybody was looking in the cafeteria. I can't even imagine.
You never realize like what you do to make somebody's day. Man, you played my song. Or, man, you did this. And music has that way. You talk about mood and music. Even when I was teaching, like my lesson plans were lit, man. I would always do like mood with music around like first, second graders, like introduce them to mood. Like I would play like Sesame Street music, and I told them to like I just told them to walk around the room to whatever the music makes you feel. I would play like happy music, and the kids would just be, trialing. I play like some crazy, scary stuff, and they would walk around, so I can see that they like the kids know, man. The kids, they're smart. You gotta push them. You gotta really push them, because they can do, especially now, like the technology. These kids are making music, making full content. They're full content creators.
Yeah.
From streaming Call of Duty to doing music. So it's these kids are.
Oh, it's interesting that you bring up like, because how you almost tie the mood like to the emotion of the music and like that, because kids can understand it, because they're not to that age where they're suppressing any of their emotions or anything like that. They are just free creatures.
They're just pure and free.
Yep, they are just like it is their world, and they know it. And so they like, because I'm still like at the level where it's like I need to look at a chart to see exactly how I'm feeling, my emotion wise, because it's like
Which is good, because you gotta look and come in and know where you are, like know how you're feeling, know what type of person, know what type of learner, know what type of creative, know what type of whatever, like we're all classic, so yeah.
And then how was it kind of getting on your first show or your first music on TV with the Boondocks? Like how was it like watching did you watch the show and then end up hearing everything? That was a good show back in the day.
We watched the show. I was familiar with the show, because the show was on, it started 2005, 2006ish. The show was on. I was familiar. We were watching, but then we got to the studio and it got real. Like when we got with Ninth, it was a whole band. It was a whole band, and we got with Ninth, and that's when he would show us the clips of the stuff, or be on the phone with Aaron Magruder and stuff. He would be. This is how long ago it was, like before FaceTime. Like the Mac computers had iChat, so they was on iChat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, and just learning about that, and just even my internship in school was working at Muzak, was working with the companies that, you walk into a retail spot or a restaurant, like you hear the music, like we were curating that stuff long ago. Like curation is big now, but
yeah,
we were doing that then. I was in charge of Ann Taylor, Red Lobster. We did like Gap, Banana Republic, just stores. We figured out what, how music makes people spend money, like how music affects, commerce and this like that. We're in Gap. My presentation was, hey, you walk in Gap. I was like, everything is white. I was like, the floor is white. The mannequins, like, it's clean. Let's play some all-American music. Let's play some Bon Jovi. Let's play some like NSYNC. Let's play some MC Hammer. Let's play stuff that people. All right, you go to Abercrombie and Fitch. It's completely dark in there. Everything's black. Let's darken it up. Let's play some some Tool.
Wow.
Let's play some System of a Down. Let's play some Nirvana. Let's play like stuff that fits that mood. And that's when I learned about just like, you know, curating and like putting music in spaces and stuff, man. But it's also good to throw in like a curveball. You know, you can't have it too. You got to put in some stuff that's like out of it, just to send people. You know,
yeah, you can't be too expected. You can't have them. Yeah. Man, I'm like, my mind is spinning right now because I'm just thinking about like, now it's like, I mean, I'm working out Lululemon in store. I'm thinking about the music that they played, and then I'm thinking of all the music that's played now. You just, like, I mean, you lit the ball, like the light bulb up. I'm gonna start thinking everywhere. Like why are they playing this music
right now? Like, especially, it's about to be the holiday season. I guarantee you go in these stores, they're playing this, like they're playing that Mariah Carey or this holiday real fun, that fun music. It's making you just making you spend money, man. Like it's all to keep people in the good spirits and the good. You know, it's powerful. Like music is like that. So we handle on that level as well. You know, I learned about, you know, licensing and publishing and things like that. So
yeah, because I remember like we talked about like lo-fi music a little bit, like almost like that coffee shop vibes, and you sent me a couple like listens. But now I'm like, I'm gonna be listening to everything around me just to kind of see what their intentions are behind the music and what they're trying to like. Like my self-awareness is gonna go up a lot after, just because I want to hear
it's true. Your self-awareness, your spatial IQ. We did a project in high school was about, you know, the Mozart effect, you know, listening to classical music while you study. Like it helps. It definitely is a difference. They did a group of study of, you know, three groups of people, like I guess a couple groups of people. Like one group would listen to classical music while they studied or did work. One group listened to no music. One group listened to like heavy metal. One group listened to like gangster rap or whatever. And they looked at all the different numbers in the classical. You know, it's in tune. So the lo-fi is like is big on like YouTube and all these Spotify and all these DSPs. It's the study music. It's the chill music. It's the all right. Let me just put a playlist together. Like we're in the age of playlists. You know, the playlist helps us discover new music and new songs or new artists, and it's cool. So
yeah, because I know that like it's crazy that it's so subconscious. I mean, because because if you're going to the mall and you're on a mission, you don't care what music is playing, but it's still gonna affect how your actions and stuff. And so that, oh my gosh, I'm going into psychology aspect of it, as well as the sociology, how people are interacting. And that's kind of how my brain picks apart this. And that is very interesting. I'm glad that you brought that up, because I used to listen to classical music in college, not even just because.
Yeah,
I might do better. I'm not studying, but I'm listening to classical music. And so, you get this opportunity to work with Prince, and you have to turn it down, and to continue teaching. What was going through your head at that time? And then how did you move forward after that?
I mean, at the time I did feel like at the time I felt like it was a regret. You know, they say like you live life with no regrets. At that present time, I kind of felt like it was a regret. I felt all it would have done was just change my trajectory. You feel me? Just a little more, because a lot of the cats who ended up going on that tour, they ended up playing with like Bette Midler and Lenny Kravitz and all these different other groups, you know, that spun, which is cool. But at the same time, like I had that fire in me, and I was putting everything into, you know, my own project, into building my own band, and you know, I manifested everything. We have the group, and we're flourishing. So, you know, even in a pandemic. So
yeah, and I like that how you phrase that. It just changed the trajectory. I mean, it's like I know, like I can hear from your voice that you already know where you're going. It's just a matter of what the journey looks like getting there. And so it's not like that opportunity might have changed the trajectory, but you already know that that you're going up there. And so I like how you did phrase that. And then you started your own band. You worked, you essentially created your own opportunities.
That's it. It's about creating opportunities. I always say opportunity creates opportunity. Like opportunity creates opportunity. Like when I walk into an opportunity, I want to walk out with like 3 or 4 opportunities, like other opportunities. If I'm in this room, let me see what I can land just talking to people or whatever. If I'm at this gig, let's kill it so it'll create. And that's always been like my mental process for the past like 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, just coming in and just taking advantage of that opportunity and really just empathizing and being there and being, just doing like letting the music work for you.
Yep. Yeah. You even mentioned that where did I write that down? You mentioned the referrals. Like it's all in the referrals. And so you had to go put on a show, be very present while you were there and make an impact.
You got to make an impact, but it's the little things like just being there on time or being there early. Just okay, because that gives the client already like an assurance. Like, okay, dang, the band is here. The band is set up before the cake people. Dang, that gives them, because stereotypically the band is always late. Yeah. So I always like break that stereotype of like we'll get there if sound check is at 3 o'clock. I'll tell cats like 12 just so they can get ready at 1 so we can get there at 2.
Yeah.
it's just you got to be there because those are the things that keeps the relationships following up, being punctual, being professional, especially like in these higher areas like these country clubs and stuff. It's just like there's no room for error. Like honestly, like people are waiting for you to mess up, so it's just you gotta stay sharp.
Yep. Yeah. Because like you said, the music's going to speak for itself. You know that your music is there, but if you're a problem to deal with, people aren't going to hire you if they even think you might be remotely a few minutes late, or you might, if you do anything kind of unprofessional, like you said.
Unprofessional. If you come late, if you come just like reeking of like weed, if you come just for real, like it's time and place, man. Just your job is your job. You still got to do a job. You're on the clock. You're on the clock when you're on the way to the gig. Sometimes you're on the clock when you wake up. Like that's when the gig starts. It's the preparation for the gig. Might need a rehearsal. Might need this. It's all it's the work we don't see. Even for what we do, it's the when you're doing podcasts. It's like after this, you got to edit. They don't see that part. They don't see the work that and it's a lot of the work that people don't see. They just see the end product. They see us on stage or they see this, but you practice for a minute. I wrote that song 3 different times. I had to, it's.
Yeah, my roommate for around 3 years before this location is a musician, and he started his own band, and he plays at like Jack Beagles and Sycamore and everything like that. And just seeing how much work he put in. I mean, because he would have maybe 2 rehearsals before an event, but then I mean he was playing every day, and he was writing the songs, and he was figuring out which songs and sending them to his band members so they had to learn it, everything like that. I mean, it so much goes into it. And then I was like, I mean, I obviously showed as like I love going to the events too, but I'm like, at the same time, I was like, I might skip out on this one because I hear you every day.
Because you hear, and that's the thing, like that's an honest thing. And even when friends with musicians, like, people like, hey, come out to the concert, and then say it's like, well, I've always heard you play, man. We'll come out, but it's like, hey, we've always heard them play. We've always heard you play.
Yeah.
That is the thing.
It's funny because because he'll do covers too, and then I'm singing the cover in his voice. I'm singing the song, like the song would come on the radio, and I'm singing it in his tone, and I'm like, dang, he really set that in.
That's the impact. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you know.
Music, and it's still in your head. That's the big thing too. And it's still in your head. If you start singing or humming a song, that means it hit you. It can be dumb or whatever. It just it hit you in that way. So
yeah. And so you then went from you started your own thing. You released your own albums, which was you said Chicken and the EP.
Chicken Daddy. Yeah, Chicken
Yep.
Day EP. Yeah.
I actually listened to that on Spotify.
Yeah.
It was like after you sent me the lo-fi music, I was like Harvey Cummings, boom. I saw you up there, and so you dropped the EP, and when did that drop?
That dropped in 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. And so what have you kind of been up to between now and like after the EP dropped and everything like that?
Oh man.
I know you've been a lot, but or just like give us a rundown
on
or
my
some stuff
personal stuff, like the band, we've always had gigs, festivals, different things like that. But me as a producer, like I've, produced for a lot of artists, a lot of people based out of Charlotte, not, like Elevator J or Greg Cox and
Greg, yep.
Just helping them out. Like even Elevator J, it's like Southern. You're not familiar with Elevator J's music. It's like Southern rap. It's very Outkast inspired. And in his last couple of projects, I kind of came in. We'll fill up things with keys and organ. We'll book a bass player to kind of make it more musical. We've done that. I've been tapped in, these different podcasts in Charlotte. I produced a lot of the music from these podcasts. We got some more coming. We just wrapped up Muggsy Bogues right now. He's doing a podcast with Charles Oakley.
Really?
Yes. So we just wrapped that up, and that process was cool. They were like, send us what you got. We want it to sound like sports. And I sent them something, and then the producer emailed me back, was like, we like this, but can it be faster? And can it be like more like trap? Like, so they sent me the reference. It was like a T.I. and Young Thug song, and I listened to it for like 2 days, just marinated in my head, heard it, and I implemented that into the theme music, and I sent it back to them, and they were very pleased. But that's what I'm saying. You got to work with the clients. You can't let your ego, old Harvey, like old young Harvey. Oh, we need this faster, more trap. I'd be like, oh, you don't like my music? Like, dang, but you have to, and in this, this industry, be like, that's a client. I'm here to make, this ain't about me. I'm here to make what you want.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it sounds good. Where I'm just when it feels good for me sending it. When it's just like, all right, let's just send. Like that's just. But when it feels good to you're listening to something over and over, like you put that effort and that equity into each project, then it makes it more worthwhile. So
yeah, that's awesome. I like that you were like the. My favorite part of Hustle and Flow is when they put that whole song together. Yeah, and my favorite part is when it's like bum 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 bum. Yeah, and it's like that's my favorite part. Yep.
Yeah, man.
Oh man.
Juicy J produced all that, man. They won that Grammy. They won it because they won it. Like they made, yeah, man.
I love that movie, and like, and I like that you show that you work with the client. I mean, it's like you have the ear for it, but they have the vision too, and so you have to kind of find where that sweet spot is in the middle, where you know that you're producing something that's good quality, and that your audience, that your client is looking for. And so that's that's awesome, man. Do you do anything specific when like you're getting into that creative zone, like those 2 days where you're just listening to that beat, trying to let it marinate? Like, do you have a routine that you do before you get creative?
Yeah, sort of. A lot of routine. It happens is, this is gonna sound crazy, but I turn music off.
Ooh.
I listen to nothing in the car. I'll listen to nothing, and like that gives me like the blank canvas to like hear stuff. If I'm on like a long trip, I'm going to Myrtle Beach. I'm gonna listen to podcasts and music, but it's gonna be a time where like I turn the music off and just I can hear it in my head first, and then if it's cool enough, I'll get my phone and then I'll do like voice memo and just do like a bass line. dun 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 dun, and I can come back to it later. So when I go back to my voice memos, if I'm at the studio, I just get to my voice memos and I hear dun dun dun, and I transfer it to dun 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 dun. We can make it happen, and that's a process. It doesn't matter what time of day.
Mm-hmm.
I was coming up with set lists. We have a show with the Southern Tiger Collective coming up, and it was like 1 a.m. I was thinking of more songs to add to the set. I want to arrange. I want to do original pieces, but also do different things. So I was hearing this Jay Electronica song, and I was like, yo, this will be dope live. This will be really, 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 really dope live if I arrange it. So I started writing and doing that. That was last night. So it's a process. It's always a process, man. It's like I'm able to do, like, I've manifested a lot of things in my life and able to do this. Like, this is my full-time job. Like, I've never, I've had a part-time job since high school. I sold shoes at Foot Action,
Yeah.
and it's just, I'm able to do the things, I have streams and different things of this, but it's all music related. I'm able to live, so it's like, now it's like we're taking it to the next step. We're going more towards, like I said, the licensing, the publishing. I want these companies to just, drop a bag and buy my catalog, buy like 30 of these mugs at a time. You use it for your media products and use it for. So that's what we're doing now. We're working with Mark Eckerd. If you're not familiar with him, he runs the Charlotte-based producer. He runs a company called thatpitch.com, and you sign up and it gives you, you get leads. Hey, this company is looking for, and they'll be real specific with it. We got a thing last week for these pop tracks, because I've been producing pop music, and what's big now is 8-bit pop. Like, they want music to sound like a Nintendo.
Yeah.
That's what's popping now. That's what the trend is now. 8-bit pop, like that Nintendo music, like for real, like those 16-bit sounds, 8-bit sounds, those signs, and you can use like a Moog or a synthesizer to find those sounds, or different packs and different
Interesting. Things. I remember that I can't even think of the name of this band, but they used to only create 8-bit, like, that music. Like, they would just use the sounds of when you eat a Pac-Man and things like that.
All that, like, they use that. Like, you look at the commercials now, the new commercials, they're using the 8-bit.
Yeah, I even heard a lo-fi song the other day that had like Mario
but like
on
lo-fi, it. But lo-fi is, like I said, lo-fi is pushing it too. Like, now I think Pepsi put out their official lo-fi playlist. Like, Pepsi, like, people are putting. They're really trying to push.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see them. I can see that being huge if you're listening to the music in a commercial and then listening to it on a playlist, that is Pepsi.
I'm hearing lo-fi, all these commercials from wireless phones to clothes. Like, I'm hearing that trap music. I'm hearing stuff you wouldn't hear 10 years ago. Like, you're hearing it. Like, it's main now. It's mainstream. It's been. You look at ESPN and they're playing all these different things. Even like you play like NBA 2K and games like that. Like, that year when like Jay-Z executive produced the music, that changed it. And then Travis Scott did the music, and now 2K is more known for the music than the game.
Yeah.
And it's cats here in Charlotte that are being placed on that platform. So
that's wonderful. Do you like, when you're watching TV and things like that, like, are you able to like take the background music out? Like, if you're watching a movie and you hear the background music, do you always tune into that music?
I'm the worst, because the music gives everything away. The music gives everything away. If like somebody's been shot, they're about to die, but you start hearing the strings and the piano, I'm already like, oh, they about to be all right.
Yeah, they coming back.
They coming back. But how'd you know that? Because the music it's too hopeful. Like, for me, like, the music supervisor under the script will put like insert hopeful music. Simple as that. It feels hopeful. But when stuff is scary, you hear that dark piano, oh, somebody about to die. Somebody about to die. You hear that something turned bad, or you hear those something, you know, people like it's like the music gives it away. We would just put movies on mute and just create our own soundtracks.
Yes.
We would do that. But yeah, the music gives it away.
Yeah, I mean, because I notice it sometimes, but I don't have the ear that you do, and so it's like I can see that some people be like, man, I don't even want to watch a movie because it's like I just
these music supervisors are so purposeful on their music. Like Endgame was they built that soundtrack specifically for that time in the movie. To all that was, you look at Game of Thrones, the one of the last episodes, the Night King episode, and it just had that piano just start, and then it build up, and then it was this climax, and then I'm spoiling the dang, like she kills the Night King, and then the music just goes back to the piano. Do 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 do. It just, music is that effect.
Gosh, I gotta rewatch. I'm rewatching that scene.
Rewatch that scene. That music, it goes on for like 15 minutes. Like that song is so long, but it starts near the, you know, and then the climax is there.
Yeah, because that whole scene was like, it felt like 15 minutes, but then it was like in Game of Thrones time, it was like a minute and a half.
Minutes, yeah, and there was no dialogue.
Yeah. Gosh.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. Like the music. So like I study like Hans Zimmer. I'll study, you know, John Williams or whoever's doing these soundtracks and these different things, man. Like it's that's the next thing. Of course, you know, movies and film. That's always been like my end goal. My end goal growing up was just, you know, to do that and then get a check in the mail. But now the check in the mail is what Spotify and streaming is. So these cats are trying to put out more music. They're trying to get on these playlists.
Yeah.
Because if you make you put out an album and it does all right, but one of the songs got put on this dope playlist, that's going to drive the numbers. So.
Wow, the playlist is even bigger than the album, you're saying, huh? Yeah,
the playlist, like on Spotify, like the Rap Caviar and the Chill, all that stuff. Those are like elite playlists now. Like it's a you wanna.
Yeah, if you get on those, you're a guaranteed thousands, hundred, probably tens of thousands of downloads.
That's already a couple. That's some spins right there. You got sync. That's syncs. You know, that's just one song. So imagine if you. So it's like now, you know, these cats are selling their catalogs. You know, Calvin Harris just sold his publishing for $100 million. Jimmy Jam and well, no, not Jimmy Jam. L.A. Reid just sold his. So it's value in it, man. It's value in it.
Yeah,
that's the next step.
I like it. I like that. Like, it's almost like that. Like you talked about movie wise, that story that kind of gets told and like. Through the music. My brother sent me some, I forgot what it was. It was Ghost Wish. It's like it's like a heavy metal symphony.
Okay.
And he goes, listen to this 10-minute song or this 10-minute, and then by the end, it's like I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. By the end, it's just it's a live concert, and this girl's
dramatic.
But it's a story, man, and it's like it's almost like some Dragon Ball Z Goku type stuff, like. That music that you play when he's down and he's coming back up, Super Saiyan, all that stuff. It lights me up, man.
Dragon Ball, it had that. You know, the '90s had those hard rock soundtracks. It gets that blood going. It's that you hear that. I hear that. I think of like racing down a hill or something. You know, it's that action-packed music. The music is everything. You pair it to everything.
Gosh,
it's important. Like music will
it changes everything.
It'll make it better. If you hear a song, you might get sad because you might think of somebody or an experience, a bad experience. But we think about all those.
Yeah, and
you know, ringtones and all that is special.
Yep, I'm a big podcast audiobook listener, but I also know that music can change my state. And so like if I'm on my way somewhere and I gotta have some energy, I gotta bring, like Roaming Around is coming out, like let's go get ready to go do a creative morning.
When like Roaming Around is ready, like what are you cutting on? Like what are you playing?
Man, honestly, it's like I even cut music before the podcasts just because I'm gonna sing it out And once I sing it out, it's I feel like I'm getting my vocal cords ready for an hour-long conversation. And so, man, anything 90s R&B is me.
You can't win. You can't lose with you can't lose with 90s R&B.
It's like, I mean, because I like, whether it's Keith Sweat, Tyrese, whether it's Music Soul Child, whether it's man, I got
you naming them.
Yeah,
Hey,
Mario. You could go Tank. You can go Case. You can go
Joe. I love Joe.
Joe. Yep.
Joe's my favorite.
Yep, and
Joe,
Casey and JoJo too. Like that. Those are.
JoJo.
That was the first song I wanted to play, and that's when I actually quit. Yes, that was actually that's funny. That was what I wanted to play when I quit teaching myself piano in college.
Hey,
just
man.
Because like by the time like I didn't even know what to do on my keyboard. It was like my notes weren't even getting that high. I had to switch the octave.
But you were hearing, you were matching, you were transcribing, you were matching what you hear. You were matching with, you hear it in your head. Like I always tell my students, if you hear it in your head, you can play it. Or if you hear it in your head, you can sing it. Or if you can sing it, you can play it. Because if you can sing it, you just match. You know what I'm saying? It's all about just matching.
Yeah, and oh man, and like even like some like just good, I call it like timeless music. You know, it's like I'm not gonna listen to every Drake song when I get older, but I might listen to Passion Fruit.
Passion Fruit.
Just because it's smooth, you know? Or like Just Hold On, We're Going Home. That
all
too.
That it's that beat, it's that he knows it. Those are timeless.
I love those like timeless classics. And those are like more modern examples. But like
modern classics.
Yep. Everybody's got them. It's pretty cool to experience, man. And so what kind of projects you got in the near future that you're excited about? Anything that you can share with us?
We just wrapped up Loot, his album from Charlotte, of course, Dreamville, rapping from Charlotte, signed to J. Cole's Dreamville. We're wrapping up Loot. I'm doing a lot of keys and other stuff on that, making it real jazzy. Of course, like Elevator J and Sion, but of course, like my stuff, we're in the studio. Like I'm writing for this new project, this new album. It'll be live. We can do like a studio album. This is mostly me on saxophone, my whole band. The Chicken Day series out, and I'll keep it going too. Chicken Day is really just me as a producer, and I'm playing sax over my production. But this album will be like my charts, my compositions. Like I'm giving, like, here's the bass part, here's the piano part, and we'll rehearse and then go through it, man. So we're recording that in Raleigh. We've been going to Raleigh about once a month, just putting out, just like I tell people, just have content. We gotta keep having content. But I've sufficed off the content that I've put. So it's like we just keep making content and riding that wave until it goes out. You know, put a campaign together. I always like to release music around holidays for the same reason, because people are more festive. You know, it's festive. Yeah. It's a good way to, you know, for them to play your stuff. Like Chicken Day came out in September. So I was pushing it for, you know, let this be the instrumental jazz album you play during Thanksgiving, like at your Thanksgiving table, and I would just be like, send me clips of y'all eating Thanksgiving, listening to Chicken Day, and people would send clips of, and I'm like, cool, like that worked, because it's the niche, you know, like I know where my music fits, but it's like but you also learn from your audience. I learned that a lot of professional people, like doctors' offices, lawyers' offices, dinners, all these different offices and stuff. Like they're playing my music. You know, hey, we were listening to your music in the office the other day. And that's this type of stuff that I like, because I make my music for like just the everyday working everybody, but I make it for like I want to make it for people, like to get through your day, to get through your study exam. And people tweet and say, hey, I'm listening to your album right now, studying for my bar exam. I'm just like, damn, that's a privilege. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
shoot, you got the Mozart effect. I'm trying to get the Cummings effect.
Man, we got it coming.
I'm trying to get that Harvey effect, baby.
We gotta get you in the booth, man. We gotta get you.
Oh man, I would have some fun just being around all the artistic expression. And shoot, I mean, I could add some ad libs if you need it too.
There we go, man. throw some auto tune on and just add some effects. And,
yeah. Oh man, that's wonderful. Well, kind of in closing, where can people find you on social media and some of your work, things like that?
Find me on social media. I'm a Twitter head. Twitter's my number one. Follow me at Harvey Cummings on Twitter. I do the IG, I do the Instagram. It's Harvey Cummings as well. You just Google Harvey Cummings. I'll be there, man. But those are my two big things. I've been on Facebook for 4 or 5 years now, man. Like, wow. My skin has gotten clearer and just
dang,
just But I connect. I'm always there. Like my contact is on there, and I'll respond back to people. I'm always here for conversation and enlightenment and learning and ratchetry and just everything, man. Like I said, if I'm not playing music, like Roman knows, like I'm on Warzone. We got a Cold War about to come. My PS5 on the way, baby. So,
oh, you got one?
Yeah. Target, man. Target.
Wow. So, shoot, I was trying to get one just for the flip.
Just for the flip. I started for the flip, then I'm like, I done pre-order games and stuff. So
yeah. Oh man.
It's a balance. It's a balance, and like even we talk about that. Like I meet people on the game, man. I meet people like the gaming community is like, it's like playing golf, man. You might get some business out of it. You meet different people that you never have met. I'm on with regular people from here, from California, but then the next round I'm playing with some NBA, NFL folk or Roscoe Dash or whoever else. You know what I'm saying? It's really cool to just meet these people online, man, and you all have that common thing. I love gaming, so it's my way. It's my way of decompressing. So
yeah, shoot, same here. I mean, it's nice because my brother won an Xbox off of Taco Bell.
Hey.
Or no, a PlayStation, and then he gave me his PlayStation that he already had, and so then I bought every game that he was playing, and then it's like I get to talk to my brother 4 or 5 times a week.
It's like I didn't have to call him. We can just get on the game and talk and chill and have a conversation and fellowship.
My mom's calling us like, when's the last time you talked to your brother? He's like, 10 minutes ago, after getting a dub. Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. I'm here. In Charlotte. Just me as a producer, just working with that. I'm working with new. I'm also working with, since I have this platform, I work with Charlotte Center City Partners with the Music Everywhere CLT project. So what's going on right now is like, I mean, this is all pre-COVID, of course, but like the state of the music scene, like we're desperate. We're really like legitimately branding Charlotte as a music capital. Like we're trying to brand Charlotte as like a music city, but it all has to start from internal and everything else. So we've hired consultants from Austin, Texas, and all these different places, and we're getting the numbers. We're learning about the audience, audience development. We're learning about that. We're learning about just venues and different things like that. But like COVID put a strain on a lot of things, man. Like since COVID, I probably had like 2 or 3 public shows. The rest have just been like private, these people's backyards or whatever. Like they'll bring me to it, but a lot of people had to pivot. Especially like a lot of creators, a lot of musicians, like they were out of work for real. They had different grants and different things out, and there's still different things to do, but I don't see things picking up really until like the spring. We'll see in the spring when like it's like festival season, when people are gonna try to do these concerts and these festivals and these shows. But I love the drive-through stuff.
Yeah,
I love what like Mark Rublier was doing and just things like that, just doing drop-in. The virtual shows, you can bring it to your people. You don't necessarily have to do it, but we're working on stuff. We're working on a show at Middle C right now in December. So
okay,
we'll see how that goes, man. So
yeah, Middle C. Hey, once that does come up, once you got those details, shoot them my way.
The details, we'll share it, man. We want to pack it out with people, man. So,
hey, shoot, I'm in.
Social distancing,
Of course. But yep, Harvey. Hey, I appreciate you taking the time again, man. That was a great conversation, and I'm looking forward to.
Thank you for just having me, reaching out. I'm glad we got this, and
yeah. Hey, I'm looking forward to sharing it with the audience, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes in the future for you, my man.
Hey, man. Just keep roaming around, man.
Hey, we ain't stopping no time soon.
We ain't stopping no time.
No time soon. All right, brother.
All right, man. We love you, man. We'll see you, man.
Yep. Love you too, bro.
Hey.